you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Hello and welcome to Hockey Night in Australia. I am Gordon Goodenough, joined by Andrew McDougall and Sean O'Connor. We are here to talk all things AIHL. We had mega round last weekend, 10 games played for the first time in AIHL history over a weekend. So we'll get into that. We've got a special guest, Kerry Goulet, head coach of the Melbourne Ice. We'll chat with him as well and talk all things Melbourne Ice. But yeah, if you're watching, drop us a comment, send us a subscribe, like, etc. And of course, this will be available not only as a replay video on Facebook and on YouTube, but also it's live on Instagram, I think, Doogie. And it will be available to download as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. So how are we all doing? Morning, Corey, Katina. Hello, Courtney Kinniston, who's sick. Jessica Calder, evening, everyone. And Phil Taylor, evening.
He's dropping down the order. He's now fourth.
He's fourth. Oh, it's tough competition.
Everyone wants to be the first to message on our program.
He's got a lot going on, Phil. He's a busy man.
He is head of photography now in the AIHL. Sean O'Connor, you've had Senate estimates. So how are you feeling to get out of that headspace and into some hockey?
Oh, great! Like I'm instantly back to last weekend already. It's fantastic.
And Doogie, you've got COVID after going up to Gosford for the A-League Grand Final. You've come home with COVID.
Yeah, it was a big weekend, a 22-hour round trip driving up from where I live to Gosford to watch my beloved Melbourne Victory get done. And then I've returned home and I've tested positive to COVID today. So that's lovely.
A final gift for the season.
Yeah. But we are here to talk some hockey. Let's have a look at the results from the weekend's action. So we had on Saturday, the Mustangs beat the Adrenaline 5-2. The Bears squeaked out a 4-3 win at Arena. The North Stars defeated the Brave at Hiss 4-2 with some empty net goals added. The Melbourne Ice defeated the Brisbane Lightning 6-1. Perth Thunder defeated the Ice Dogs 8-2. And on Sunday, Ice defeated Adrenaline 6-3 to keep rolling. Thunder squeaked out a win at Arena 4-3. The Brave defeated the Ice Dogs at home 5-1. The Brisbane Lightning scored with 12 seconds left in the third to defeat the Mustangs 2-1. And the Bears defeated the North Stars on home ice 6-1. Your thoughts on the weekend's results? First, you, Doogie.
The Bears keep rolling on. They're looking really good. The best team in the competition at the moment. They sit atop everyone on points and have won 8 in a row. They look really good. That Brisbane Lightning win over the Mustangs is massive for the Lightning. With the Brave starting to roll now back into a final spot, the Brave getting that late winner for the Lightning is massive, and it could kickstart their season.
Yeah, I mean that's 100% right there, Doogie. It was a massive win for the Brave. I actually can't think of it. Was it their first home win for the season? I think it might have been. But anyway, it also represents the halfway mark for the season for the Brave. So they've now played half their games. So it was an important victory that got them into the top 3 in the conference. So you can't ask for more than that from them. But one thing that strikes me about looking at all of our mega round games here was that 6 of these games out of the 10 were all settled by close margins.
The ones that stand out too are, and I know they didn't get the results on their home ice, but the Rhinos
Yeah.
You know, two tough losses, and you know, I know the Rhinos did cop a little bit of stick from a couple of people about some comments from Ron Kaprowski, but they're turning it around and they're competitive. The Rhinos, they're not just walkovers.
Yeah, and look at the teams they versed: the Bears and the Thunder, two teams challenging for the cup this season, and they lost 4-3 on both occasions. Man, that's some
And
good hockey.
and they had leads too.
Gotta love it. And then, I mean, you know, the 5-1 result for the Brave, it does flatter the Brave somewhat. They did score 2 empty net goals late on in the last 2 minutes of the game to kind of blow that out a bit. So that was also a pretty close game right to the end.
And we'll just go to the chat. Cornick, Kinniston, I love seeing just 1 goal difference for the Rhinos. They're so much more competitive, and I love it. And they had chances too. The Rhinos had chances to equalize, like they were pressuring right at the end. So unlucky not to get something from the weekend. And then we've got the lightning win was huge for the Stangs as well for all the wrong reasons. That is correct. We talked a little bit about that in the Slack chat, that 10 points back in May in a strong Hellier conference. You know, you wouldn't say it's all over, but it kind of feels that way.
Well, and that's crazy because just last week, you know, the Mustangs had been starting to build some momentum again to actually start getting themselves closer to those top 3 in Hellier. And then this loss is almost like a big sucker punch to all that.
And we've got Anthony Russell from Banners on the Wall. Give him a follow for all things UK hockey. The Mustangs continue to make me scratch me head on the back end. And there's the Rhinos. God loves to try. I can't wait for them to spring a massive shock at some stage. Yeah, well, the Rhinos have shocked a couple of teams so far this year. I don't think they're done. The way that they played, that Perth Thunder result, that's a big one. Like, I know they lost, but from the game on Saturday where the Perth Thunder looked, after that game, I went into the Slack chat and I said Perth Thunder are going to take home the Goodall Cup based on how I've seen them play. And they look good and they run deep. They run ridiculously deep. And for them to, you know, for the Rhinos to battle them that close and to have, as you said, Doogie, to have a lead in that contest is pretty huge.
I must admit, I do wonder how hard this week was for the North Stars to both play at home against one of their major rivals in the Brave and win, and then to go traveling down to Sydney to verse the leaders of the other conference, and then they got beaten quite considerably.
Yeah, it's a
I did think that was a real big litmus test.
Yeah, the Bears and Gigi, you probably see the Bears a bit closer than some of us. But the Bears just roll out their lines and they just look solid. They look really deep. They look really good across all their lines.
Yeah, they've won games without being at their best. They've had a couple of weekends where it's like, okay, things aren't 100%, but they keep on getting wins. And I
Isn't
think
that what champions do, Gordon?
Yeah,
they win even when they're not looking great or playing the best.
None of my sports teams are champions, so why would I know what a champion looks like? But as I say that, it's a Leafs fan and Toronto PWHL fan. So, but no, they looked really good.
Bad for Minnesota on that front.
Yeah. But there was, I think Ryan Annesley scored a goal in the third period. I think it was a power play goal to make it 5-1 for the Bears. And the reaction of Annesley after scoring that goal was it meant a lot to him. That game meant a lot, and Annesley is a good kind of a touchstone for the dressing room and the team and how they're feeling. And so I think that they were really geared up for that game. As you said, like the top of the conference clash, And yeah, they pulled out the W. We've got Tory Diver, my fellow Leafs fan, go Leafs, and Andrew John Egan. Good evening to you as well. Anything else from here before we move on to the standings?
I think it's amazing that the Lightning got another victory this weekend. Like, it really kind of, they were stuck on that 11 points in the conference for quite a while, and now they've been able to gain some momentum back. Because the day before, they got comprehensively beaten by the Ice, which seemed to be how most of the games had been going recently for them. So to be able to turn that around could be quite big, especially for the Root Conference.
Yeah, and Curtis Mager was great. How good was Aaron Rapchuk scoring that goal with 12 seconds left? You've got no time to respond. I mean, they did pull the goalie. They rushed down the ice, but couldn't get anything past Mago. But yeah, good win by the Lightning. They lost Jordan McTaggart, who's been a big import for them.
Yeah.
So picked up Chance Adrian, who scored a goal, I think, against the Ice. So we'll have a look to see how he does. And Batu Gendanov was fantastic as well.
Mr. Mongolia.
Mr. Mongolia, he was great.
I must admit, though, I feel bad for the Ice Dogs from this weekend because they were quite competitive against the Brave. Like, they were in it with a chance to win it, and it all just fell apart.
We've got some comments in the chat just on that. We will get to the Bears versus Brave game this weekend. Rye, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Rye William, and Julie Sugden, some love for the Lightning as well. Adds the comment that everyone loves Batu. He seems great. You can't miss him on the ice.
It's a big unit.
He's a big unit. Anthony Russell, the Bears and Ice is showing the old adage is true. Winners win. Good teams find a way when they're hurt, playing bad, or behind the eight ball. I agree. And Corey Katina chiming in on the crosstown rivals, the Mustangs, with the defensive breakdown. Rhinos are bees diaphragm off of causing some havoc. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, and I think that breakdown is the same with the Ice Dogs as well. Like, they conceded 3 goals in 3 minutes. Before then, it was so even. It blows my mind that you can go on, one thing happens and then it just really slips away from a team really quickly.
Yeah, and you mentioned, Sean, it was a different game at the Brave Cave. Like, there's normally not much neutral zone kind of activity. It's more shinny. But yeah, you comment on the difference too.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't believe how much play was just in the neutral zone or around the neutral zone as opposed to being at either end. I just went, what is happening here? And I also think it comes down to both teams having very aggressive forechecks, which is just breaking up all the play and just not allowing that flow to get down quickly. It was great. I mean, it was different.
Yeah. Well, you got the win. The Brave got the win. So
yeah, and I mean, Alex was phenomenal when called upon on the weekend.
Yeah. All right. Should we bring up the standings? What do you reckon?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So Hellier, no change in positioning, but as I say, there's now a 10-point gap between the Mustangs and the Thunder for the third and final playoff spot. The Ice Dogs have been stuck on 11 for a little while as well. The Ice with a game in hand on the Bears. So we'll see what happens there. But they play pretty soon. I think they play the Ice play the Bears June 9, I think. So circle that date on your calendar. That'll be a huge game. That
is awesome. Oh man, I can't believe as well. Yeah, there's now a 10-point gap between the Thunder and the Mustangs. It seems huge to me. Because the Thunder are
The
very
Mustangs-
close to the others. Go, Diggy.
The Mustangs have got a massive 2.5 weeks too. So they've got 4 games in a row that are on away ice. So they've got the Lightning, the Bears, and then they've got Brave back to back. And then after that, they return home for a Melbourne derby on a Friday night. So the next 5 games for the Mustangs are massive.
It's
If
almost
they want to get back into it is, yeah, absolutely, Sean.
defining, yeah.
Well, it's going to be tough. We'll get into it when we preview this weekend's games, but news on the AIHL website. Kai Miettinen suspended 2 games for a sucker punch, so we'll miss the Brave Bears game on Saturday and another game, and then Scott Timmins suspended 2 games. So Scott Timmins will also miss that game against the Bears on Sunday.
And that was for the spearing challenge. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So we've done the Hell Yeah conference according to Phil Taylor. Shall we move on to the Are You Okay conference? Some movement here.
Yeah, I mean the Brave have now moved up into 3rd, with the Rhinos dropping down to 4th. Adrenaline still down in 5th, but the Lightning, with their Sunday win, managed to maintain 2nd. It's a very close table, just completely different to the other table.
Yeah. I was just about to say there's still a battle for that 2nd and 3rd spot. There's still a battle there between these teams. Like even the Adrenaline,
Yeah,
they're still.
I think you must be pretty happy though if you're the North Stars right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I know they lost on Sunday, but they're doing pretty well in this conference.
Well, and I still don't think the North Stars have played their best hockey this season. I still think they got more in them, the North Stars, but they're sitting pretty on top, even though I feel like they still haven't played their best hockey.
Yeah, I think you're right on that, Doogie. I would say the same. And that's true about the Brave as well, right? And I think the Rhinos are still to play their best hockey this season as well.
And there's a massive Rhinos Adrenaline clash coming up too, in a couple of weeks. So back-to-back games.
Is it in Adelaide?
Yep.
Oh man, those games last year were phenomenally good. They were some of the best watching games. So everyone, circle your calendars for that.
Yeah. No, I think you mentioned too with the North Stars, Doogie, about Daniel Burno, who's been firing for them lately.
Yeah, he was in my five for riding this week. Just having another outstanding season for the North Stars. Scoring some goals, but playmaking and setting up some of the assists and passes that Daniel Burno puts on the tape for his teammates are just unbelievable. Like one of the best passes in the competition. It has been since arriving in the AIHL. Just a phenomenal player. So I wanted to put Daniel Burno in my 5 for riding because just having another outstanding season.
Yeah, I almost feel like because it's now being consistent like this, it almost goes under the radar a bit. It's the same with Francis Drolet as well. I think because they've become part of the furniture, people kind of go, oh, yeah, they're going all right. But yeah, you don't really fully appreciate what they're actually producing.
And I think too, as well, Sean, because the North Stars have always been up there and competitive year after year, that probably makes a difference as well.
But I mean, there's also a reason why they are, because they managed to keep these guys coming back season after season, and it builds onto their exceedingly good depth in their local base.
Just catching up on some comments in the chat, Corey Coutinho, the Ice Dogs Brave was 0-0 with 4 minutes left in the second, and 3 very quick goals down them. You'd have to agree with that. Anthony Russell, Rhinos versus Adrenaline. That game is going to be excellent viewing on ice and from production. As a foreign watcher, I love Adelaide's presentation on the streams. So shout out to Spacequake there, I believe, that does the Adelaide streams. Yeah. Andrew John Egan, weekend ended up being another tick for ice. Much improved approach to the defense, miserly. We will get into that with Kerry Goulet, Tristan Metcalf, our stats guru had some interesting stats about the defense. We'll share with Coach Goulet. Hit up my final rink in the league on Saturday. Keen to see Brisbane. That was Brett Parker doing some traveling. So yes, we've got some highlights. Doogie, shall we?
Yeah, do you want to quickly chuck up the points leaders graphic? So you sit at the top. We'll chuck that up and see if there's see the movement that we've got after week 8. And Scott Timmins sits on top still with 37 points, and Adam Kadlik in second on 33. Jeremiah Addison and Francis Drolet swap places, and Erdogan come up into 5th, and Joey Hughes slid into 6th after this week.
So we finally got everyone on the list is still playing in the league in the top 6.
Yeah.
And we've got 5 imports and 1 local. But yeah, that's good. Everyone's actually playing. This is great.
Yeah, Courtney Keniston. Yes, Wagner is finally out of the top 5. Yes, so yeah, that's a little bit.
How
of
many
movement.
weeks? 8 weeks. It took 8 weeks for him to get out.
Wagner still is inside the top 10.
Yeah, unreal.
So yeah, that's the points leaders after week 8, which we'll chuck out on the socials later on in the week.
Yeah. And we've got some goal highlights too from the weekend.
Yeah, we've got a few here. We've got 4, so it depends on which one you want to go to first, GG.
Let's go the one that I got the name wrong. Let's go Kieran Webster scoring his 100th AIHL point. Where apologies to him, I saw the flow and thought it was Addison.
Saved again by Bertien. We'll go right wing side, flip towards the slot by Zane Jones as they look for a quick fire second. And they've got it.
Are you kidding me? Jeremiah Addison with a spinorama knocks it out of the air. It wasn't Addison. It's being credited instead.
We're going to look here. Webster. It was Webster. Backhanded as well.
What a goal.
Oh, man, I love that call. Your reaction was exactly my reaction.
Yeah. It was one or two spinorama plays in that game, but Kieran Webster, what an absolute weapon, and that's what I mean. Like you look at the Perth Thunder, and how do you line match against that team? You've got 3 genuine lines that can hurt you, and yeah, if you're like the Ice Dogs, they struggled with the depth of the Thunder. It was pretty. If you were a neutral, it was probably okay viewing. If you're an Ice Dogs fan, it wasn't probably great viewing because Perth weren't letting them in the game.
You did mention how deep they bat, GG, the Thunder, and you did mention there was another spinorama. So they do bat deep, and then they just slot this guy into the lineup.
An ambitious ploy to bring about the commentator's curse. Thunder back the other way, looking for the move, and unbelievably making it work was Hikosaka, who gets his second. The Thunder's 8th, and it's dazzling stuff from the former Japan Youth International. It doesn't get much better than that.
What a spinorama to find Jamie Woodman with the backhand feed. Jamie Woodman just in awe of the assist here. It's pretty rare.
I love it. That is so good.
He was. Yeah, sorry.
Your giggle, GG, in the background is what I love about that call.
It's just the innovation to think this is how I'm going to create space here, and then the skill to pull it off is phenomenal. And Yuhiko Saka, like I mentioned it in our Slack chat, him and Benjamin Berard on the penalty kill were just causing havoc for the Ice Dogs. That combination of Berard and Hikosaka, if they keep them together as a penalty killing forward tandem, they are going to score some goals this season. Like, they looked unreal.
Well, and it's brilliant to see, right? Because like a couple of weeks ago, I was saying about the Thunder that they were missing kind of that next lot of goals coming in their team, but now they've got that with the 2 new imports essentially, plus now their locals backing up as well and getting on the score. It's great to see.
Yeah, we've got some Andrew John Egan about the Kieran Webster call saying that I owe him a beer. If Kieran Webster comes up to me, I will buy him a beer for sure. Anthony Russell, the way you deal with the Thunder is keep the middle clear. They'll shoot from all over. So get them wide, make the shots low percentage, albeit that spinning assist was insane. Nobody's touching it. The book is out.
It's gonna go down as one of the goals of the season. Like, it's gonna be on that short list.
And then we've got from a little earlier with the scoring leaders, Corey Katina, the way he's scoring, Albrecht will be on the list soon, even though he just arrived. And Andrew
He monsters this league, Albrecht.
Yeah.
He just loves scoring.
Yeah. And we've got another 2.
We've got a couple of goals here that the Bears are just whipping out the Forsbergs on the weekend.
Yeah.
Back now for Hawes, who won't die of wondering. Gets dispossessed. Hayashi, he's off to the races. Hayashi all alone, backhand, forehand, and Kenshin Hayashi, exclamation point, Kenshin Hayashi.
That's Peter Forsberg 2 and Charlie Smart 0. That's 2 Forsbergs move, and the same move, and the Bears are celebrating. It was a great goal. And once again, another turnover from the North Stars at the blue line, trying too much, and the Bears are so good on the counter, and that's a nice finish by Haitian.
Certainly was. He was very patient. Charlie Smart was down there, but let's just look at Hayashi here. Yeah.
It's a thing of beauty.
A brilliant goal. Brilliant goal.
Yeah.
And they're not done there. The Bears, that was the second one. So that was the second one. I should have put the other one up first, but Tyrell Clare with a beautiful move.
And ready for it. Cleared out of trouble by Tyrell Clare. Back for them. Oh, here's an opportunity for Clare. Clare fires and Clare scores. The look of disbelief and joy at the same time on the Bears bench. Dane Brum, the backup goalie, both arms raised.
Doesn't get a lot of goals, Tyrell Clare, but a bit of fortune and some great moves here to get around 2 players, and then just the drag, the Peter Forsberg drag off the back there, beat Smart.
He's so full of confidence. I love that.
Yeah, how good. Like, yeah, sorry, Diggy.
I was just going to say there's 2 things that I love about that goal. Claire basically took it from one end to the other, but the reaction of the bench is the best part of that entire video.
Yeah, Brum.
The hands,
he was...
the hands on the head, like they're going like this, they're turning around, they're looking at it. It's just great.
Like, did you just witness this? This is like once in a lifetime.
So I don't know what drills Tyler Huberty is running at Bears practice, but I wonder if they're doing the Forsberg. If that was a theme for last week on the ice, because to get 2 in a game is unreal. So yeah, we should bring on our special guest. What do you reckon? And then we can get on to the rest of the.
He's waiting in the green room. Waiting patiently. He's getting his makeup done. Just making him look pretty, and then we can get him in here. What do you reckon? We'll get him in now.
This face can take no more makeup. It's done, guys. It's the best I got.
No, you're looking good, Gooch.
Well, thanks.
How are you feeling?
You guys? I feel I'm about 85%. I've been dealing with a little bit of pneumonia. Obviously, something went through our team. I was trying to do it outside in the O'Brien Ice House, but we've got a lot of these young kids, the Ice Wolves, practicing, so I think it would have been a little bit too loud. But thank you for asking. It's been I've been struggling a little bit with asthma, and along the way, Tatsu got sick. Our goaltender, you knew that, didn't play last week. We were concerned it was glandular fever, which would have been, oh my God, we're in trouble. And I unfortunately got the bacterial part of the disease, and he had the virus. So with the proper medicine and drugs, the Gooch is on the mend. Actually end up, this is a real quick story. I had to go to the hospital at 3 o'clock in the morning because I was really struggling. I thought I was having a heart attack. Get there. No, Gooch, you're in great shape. And the doctor that came in said, hey, what do you do? I said, I'm the head coach of the Melbourne Ice. And he said, oh my God, my best friend was Josh Walt, who just got a job in Kingston. And I said, I coached him. Do you know what? I got red carpet treatment. It was unbelievable. Josh Walt, thank you very much for taking care of the Gooch.
That is awesome.
Oh, that's phenomenal. That's great. Yeah.
Kerry Gillard, he knows everyone.
Hey, listen, what a great set. Before we get started, I just want to pay a big, huge compliment to you. You know, I love everybody and I love everything about ice hockey, but I'll tell you what, the professionalism of your show and the way this looks, you've got the Goodall Cup. I'm just going to show you something. I just had to top you guys because, you know what, it looks good, but look at what I'm seeing. I went up there. Great job, guys. Great show, and I'm really excited and honored to be on it.
No, thank you. We have some stats for you from our head of analytics, Tristan Metcalf, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight. But he mentioned that the one of the big differences this season is the defense, and the offense is scoring about the same as last season, but defensively you're giving up 4 less goals per game, 12 less shots per game, and your penalty kill is about 20 points above what it was. What's changed? What's happened?
Well, the coach is pretty good. You know what it is. I obviously last year it was a difficult year for me. I thought I knew the landscape coming into Melbourne, and unfortunately, as you know, being an older guy, having older systems, dealing with younger players, I wasn't prepared. I got to be honest. There were a lot of criticism that came at me. A lot of people said, you know, this is one of the worst coaches in Melbourne's history. I took it to heart, of course, because I knew I was better than what the record showed. You saw at the end of the year, we started to get much better. But I realized it gave me a year. It always takes time, guys. I'm from Canada. As you know, I live in Toronto and in Winnipeg. I do a lot of work in Germany, played my professional career there. And so my philosophy was maybe not right for this particular time. And what happened was, because I inherited the team, I didn't get to handpick everybody. I got the year to learn. I actually went to school, if you believe it or not. Even a 64-year-old guy, now 65, can learn. And I went home determined to come back better. And I did. And I owe it to a guy named Malcolm Sutherland. I owe it to a guy named Justin Pekka and Doug Orr, actually the nephew of Bobby Orr. They were running the KHA under-18 team. They were I was so privileged to become their assistant coach. And I got to work with kids at 16, 17, 18 years old and find out the nuances. You know, I never coached with this before, right? We didn't do that. So when I came here, the first year, I thought I knew everything. Man, did I know nothing. And then when I got over to Canada, I really started to learn. And then the one thing I can say what I'm good at is I'm pretty good bench manager. Am I a technical coach with all the X and O's? I'm not the greatest, but I got a great team now with Brent Laver, just newly arrived. It's going to be a new announcement. Paul Rosen, who is here, will be a new assistant coach on the bench with the Melbourne Ice. He's got tremendous experience, obviously winning a gold medal for Team Canada. I surrounded myself with great people, but I'm going to say one thing. Joey Hughes. That's all I got to say.
We know you love Joey, but one thing I want to ask you, Gooch, with Tatsu being out and putting in young Tom Forrest, who everyone really rates Tom highly. How pleased were you for Tom to come in and get those wins?
Yeah. Well, first I want to correct you. I didn't like Joey Hughes when he was playing for Canberra. He was actually sitting close to our bench last year, and he was chirping me. I was chirping him. I just want to say that he is a class act. He called me up during the winter and actually asked me, Kerry, listen, I'm winding down my career. I'd love to come home and play. I'd love to play for you. What do you think? And I said, you know what? We've already got veteran leadership with Liam Webster, a legend, Jamie Burke, a legend, Mac Caruana as our captain. We've just got great leadership in that dressing room. And so I said, you don't have to ask me, bud, when are you getting here? And he walked in the dressing room, and something that, his accolades. I don't want to go through all that. He walked in the dressing room, looked around, all the seats were full, or all the stalls were full. And he said, hey, boys, anywhere for me to sit? 4 guys got up out of their chair and said, this is yours. It just shows you the respect. So, I love the kid. I'm so blessed to be able to coach a young kid like Tommy Forrest. Tommy and I had a very good year last year, believe it or not. He didn't play as much as we'd like him to. He's going to have a tough time getting in this lineup, obviously, with Tatsu, but we are definitely going to use him because he is a very good, technically sound coach. Paul Rosen, who, again, I mentioned to you, won a gold medal in sled hockey, para hockey. He's here for that. That's specifically why he's here, to work with him over the next few months, along with Tatsu, and get him up to speed so that eventually we don't need to have import goalies. I know everybody knows my thoughts on import goalies. The unfortunate part of the import goalies is it takes away from the locals. How do they get better if they don't play? So we're committed to Tom Forrest. Michael James, who is going to be our emergency backup, is working with him. So I'll tell you what, we've got a great future, and I was so happy. The difference is sometimes you have to make the decision to make a change. We were looking at where we were going to slot Tommy in our schedule. Obviously going 10-0 and then losing to Perth. We decided that we were going to start using him a couple more times. And then Tatsu got sick and it forced my hand. I had no other option. We talked to Mikey James. He said, of course, no, he wants to see Tommy go. And I believed in Tommy, and look at, we couldn't have asked for better. The kid is legitimately there. He's here now, and he showed that over the weekend.
Yeah, we've got quite a lot of good quality goaltenders, like young guys coming through in the league. I mean, along with Forrest, there's Trinker in Adelaide, there's Monty in Newcastle. Like, these are guys who are like 18, 19, who, bright futures.
So if I could just say, obviously me being an elderly statesman, traveling the world, been everywhere and anywhere, I've done it all. The one thing that I noticed is Australian ice hockey is very similar to when I first arrived in Germany. They were really trying to determine what import goalies, how many, and all that. And I think the decision that the German Ice Hockey Federation made back then, they decided that no import goaltenders. And it took a couple of years, no question. And all of a sudden you saw the improvement of those goaltenders. Because in this country, guys, when I was in Germany, our goalies had 5 times a week training. Here, they're getting 2 times a week training, and you just can't develop. That's no criticism to the Ice Hockey Australia League. It's no criticism to the Ice Hockey Australia. That's just the way this system is made up. And so I'm hoping that we can continue on developing a young man like Tommy Forrest, who has all the tools in the toolbox. It's on my watch to make him not only a top national goaltender, but more importantly, to be the future of obviously the Melbourne Ice. And
Gooch, does Tommy and Ishida work very closely together? I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I've never seen. Real quickly, a lot of people don't know the story. I know I don't have much time, so I'll just give you some of the things that I think you'd really like to know. I owe it to Kikuchi, Yuga Kikuchi, playing for the Melbourne Mustangs. He decided to go down the hallway, which is okay. I have no problems with that. He just wanted to be, a change of scenery, which is good. And we were talking away. Kikuchi and I have a really special bond. I've always said after the season I was going to go and spend time in Japan. I've never been there. And he had invited me to go and visit his parents and stuff like that. No, there's no way they would let me in his house. And as we were continuing our conversation, he said, but you know what, Kerry? I've got a friend that plays in college. His name is Tatsu Ishida. He's a goalie. He's really good. And he left it at that. So I did my due diligence, started to look around, found him, started to find out what he was doing, where he's at. Obviously, he's a 24-year-old goaltender in Japan. They play their elders for a longer period of time and not bring up the youth as quick. So I found out his goalie coach, I apologize, I can't remember his name off the top of the bat. I must have spent 10 hours with him. He's from the Oshawa Generals, and he's their goalie coach, who is a good friend of Keith Primo's. So I called Keith and said, could you make the introduction, made the introduction. And as soon as I told him his name, he said this, quote, unquote, sign him. He is the quickest from post to post. He is dedicated. He'll be on the ice before everybody else. He'll leave the ice the latest. He'll have his GoPro. He'll be sitting there doing these fancy tricks with his eyes for eye tracking. He is what I was told and better. So I got lucky there.
That's amazing.
And it was a risk, guys. Don't forget. It's like going and buying a car without taking a test drive. I took a gamble. I took the advice of a couple of very quality people. One being Kikuchi, telling me it was good. Was a little concerned because he's a Mustang now. Maybe maybe there was a little bit of an issue with his lower end or something. But when it ended up finding out from the goalie coach that he was the guy, the risk was mitigated by the fact that this guy said he would probably be a goalie that could be a backup in the OHL or at the time or CIS level, and we saw what Liam Hughes did last year.
Awesome.
Did you want to go, Diggy, or sorry?
I thought you were going to chuck some. I thought you were going to chuck some comments up.
Yeah, well, I can. I've got Corey Coutinho who's giving you some throwing some shade. I'm still waiting for a Gooch quick story that's actually quick. But we've got Casey Arkansas with the Bears. Glad to hear you're feeling better, Gooch.
Thank you, Casey.
That's nice. We've got a comment from Andrew John Egan. The support in front of Tommy was solid. He really met the moment. Crowd rallied around him too. And I think Andrew John Egan, it's the potential is going to be some expenses are going to be coming his way because his daughter met Tom Forrest and now wants to be a goalie. So that's a cheap pastime. Jessica Calder, Tom did an incredible job and seems to be a lovely guy too.
He is.
Absolutely.
He's one of the nicest guys you'll meet.
And then going back even further, issue now is Kerry has to one up on the trophies every time he's on now. Memorial Cup up next. And again, Joey Hughes has a picture in his attic getting older. I've watched the AIHL so long. I remember him from the first ice three-peat. Those two comments from Anthony Russell. Doogie.
Gooch, after the start of the season, and I spoke about this on your show as well, that not many people would have picked that start of the season. Getting that first loss and then rebounding the way you did, were you surprised that the group rebounded like that to get back on the winner's sheet straight away? Or did you sort of think that this group has obviously got something? Because sometimes when you have a start like that and you get a first loss, it can drop off pretty quickly in some teams.
Hey, great question. And I think people, please don't take it with arrogance. I've been around the game a long time and see a lot of players. I played with a guy named Mark McKay in my daytime, relentless to the puck, challenged even practice. We had some practices were harder than some of the games we played. And that's what I see with our team right now. When Joey Hughes and Liam Webster and Jamie Burke are on the ice, they are relentless. And so it's feeding the kids, the young players on our team. But what I got to say, you guys have seen it. Johnny Onso and Jeff Solo on our back end. I don't think there's a better tandem. And when we need to go with a tandem, they could play probably 5 minutes of a period. We are rock solid. We get our puck out of the zone really quickly. And so when Paul Rosen and I were sitting back in Canada putting together the team, along with obviously Brent Laver and Austin Lefkovich, who's doing a great job, lefty, we started to look and really dream about what this team could mean when all those guys came into the lineup, and then add the imports we got. For God's sakes, Erdogan, outside of this incident, I know we may have to touch upon it. It's terrific. What a great import. I'm hoping that we get past what obviously has happened over the weekend. And of course, having the captain, Matt Caruana, play so good with him, along with Hughes. And now just today flies in Roman Kramer, Austin Albrecht. God, I don't want to jinx it. I'm going to say he's going to be the best import by the end of the season, just because his relentlessness to the puck and how this kid tracks the puck and the way he can shoot. But hey, listen, there's a lot of ice hockey to be played. We still got a lot of teams that are going to be gunning for us. And when we talked about the first 10, I really thought 7-3 was realistic. I never, in my wildest dreams, thought 10-0 was a possibility.
If you don't mind, can we ask? Has there been an update on Erdogan with the elbow against the Adrenaline?
There is not. I think they've obviously put out all the suspensions. This one I think is sitting in a tribunal. He is a second offender. Again, I don't want to comment at this particular time until I hear the situation. But I can tell you this: all ice hockey fans, I know I've taken a little bit of a hit on the social media. I can assure you, and it can be quantified, I was with that kid for the last 30 minutes once I got in the dressing room. I worked with their people. I brought our doctors in. We called Canada to our concussion specialist. They've got my number. It's 24/7. They have a doctor in Adelaide that I've lined up. And so all I can say is from the Melbourne Ice perspective, we don't like what we saw. It is what it is. It's a very reactionary sport. And that young man is all I'm focused on, making sure he gets better. We will be there along the way. Stop concussions. Again, I have to wear a couple of hats. I am the coach of the Melbourne Ice, but I also realize that the concussions change lives, and we'll be there for that young man the whole way through as he heals from this injury.
What is what's the one player this season, Kerry, that has surprised you with this start for the Ice? Is there someone that you've seen in the preseason and you thought, okay, this player is going to show a little bit, but has actually shown you more than actually what you thought?
Yeah, I've got names like Sincata, Laver, Kasha, Hughes, Webster, Bork, Caruana, Carini, outstanding. This kid's going to be an absolute stud in this league. Obviously, having players, the younger players, the Naves of the world, the Gowers stepping up. One of the most improved players. He's a guy that was never on our radar, Ray Cahill. This kid worked, he's not a kid, he's 30 years old. He has worked his butt off to make this club. He's on the roster. He's like our 10th forward. I'll tell you what, I got a soft spot for the guy. He just works and works and works. It'd be unfair to me to say one player. I think what's really important, what the surprise is the dressing room. And I've been in many dressing rooms. And what I've seen is once the imports walked in the dressing room, it was like family. There was no, you didn't feel any disconnect. It was like when Johnny Anzo sat down with the defensive corps, you thought he'd been playing with these guys for 10 years. You don't get that often. This is a special group. Can we go and win the Goodall Cup? I'm not going to guarantee that. I'm not Marc Messier. But I think we've got a good chance of going deep. And if I could give one player, it's the collective. It's not just one player.
Well, we've got some expert comments here from Michael Clough, who's does a great job with the commentary. He says, I've seen plenty of Melbourne Ice from the Combox over the past 13 years. This year so far has been one of the most enjoyable. So that's quite a...
Hey guys, I've got fans here who they're Mustang fans, but they're starting to throw stuff at me. Matty Armstrong's in the house. Matty Armstrong, one of my favorite players. Matty and I actually played not together, but we played in the same city in Germany. I played in Deggendorf probably about 20 years before he did. I was a star. He was a star 20 years later. Matty Armstrong is in the house.
He's a great guy. Great to see him coming back with the Mustangs as well this season after a long layoff. Anything else from you, Sean?
No, it's been a real pleasure watching your team this year.
Thank you.
Good. It's like you guys were down in Canberra a couple of weeks ago, and it unbelievable to watch. So,
Before you let me go, I just wanted to find one moment. If you ask questions, but give me 1 minute to tell you something that I'm going to tell you something that I think defines our season already. you want to do it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Two things. This is not a Joey Hughes ad. This is just a fact of watching players play. We're up 5-2 in our rink. We lose the puck in their zone. Joey Hughes is behind the net. He's 38 years old. There's 4 minutes to go in the game. And what happens? The kid picks the puck up, skates one-on-one on our defenseman. And as he's getting ready to shoot just inside the blue line, our blue line, Joey Hughes lifts the puck up, skates back downwards, and hits the goalpost. 38 years old, 4 minutes left in a 5-2 win. That shows what our team's all about. And then sitting in Canberra, I think one of you were there, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I was there. We were down 3-1. We had some bad luck. Things just didn't seem to go in our way. And I was on the bench, looking down the bench, and I saw guys like Caruana. I saw Burke. I saw Solo, all sitting there, really focused with it going into that third period. And the defining moment was that to win that game in a shootout was truly remarkable because they had us. It just took one more shot, one more goal, and I think that could have turned things could have changed. But up step Joey Hughes, wins the face-off back to Liam. I think he shoots to score, and then we tie it from a goal by Hughes, and then I think it was Erdogan that scored the overtime, the shootout goal. That really, when I'm going to look back, I'm going to say that really showed us. Not only are we a team, we're going to fight together. We had a little bit of issues with, let's just call, some phantom calls, and we killed off 24 penalties in a row, including 4 5-on-3s. That is absolutely incredible. Compliment to all my players.
Yeah, and Corey Coutinho just mentioning that stat too, the 24 consecutive penalties killed. Looking forward to seeing you in Sydney very soon, Kerry. But yeah, looking forward to seeing the ice in person. A couple of people in the chat. Phil Taylor, I got to watch the ice on Sunday. They were so impressive as a unit. And some more love for Ishida. Ash loved Ishida. What a find. But thank you so much for joining us. Kerry. Sorry, Sean.
Oh, I just wanted to quickly say when the Ice were down in Canberra, I met up with Kerry after the Sunday game. And one thing that struck me was the fact that both Kerry and Matt Karuna were out the back of the dressing room, and they were getting broken sticks and that signed for kids from Canberra. And I just thought, here is the away team, and they're out there helping the community and building up. What a great spirit for hockey. I just thought that tells you a lot about this team and about the players and coach.
Cheap plug, guys. Don't forget the Ice Hockey Classic is bringing back the Tour of Hope the front of July. The Indigenous is coming back. I can't tell you the response we've had from every city. We're going to be playing in Melbourne. I'm sure we'll get an opportunity to speak. I just want to do a shameless plug because it's so important that we as a ice hockey community, ice hockey family, have inclusion in our Indigenous, allowing them to understand through education and sport. They have an opportunity to see the world. The world is their oyster. I'm honored to be able to do such a thing like this. And I know Andrew, Gordon, and Sean, I know you're going to be a big part of it. Thank you. Not only what you've done for me and helping me bring this to this country, but more importantly, what you're doing for the AIHL and hockey all across this country. You guys are good at what you do. I love it. I'm even learning some stuff. I love your setup. So watch for the next one. I may have that Memorial Cup up on my next show.
No, thanks very much, Kerry. Thanks, Gooch.
See you guys.
Thanks so much, Kerry.
Thank you for the time.
There you go.
Absolute legend of ice hockey in this country, well, globally. We've got a comment from Anthony Russell. Between Kerry and Tom Coolan coaching at Fife, some great classic coaching characters still in the game. Yes, absolutely. So we look forward to seeing more of Gooch and learning more about the Ice Hockey Classic and the Indigenous, the Tour of Hope. Let's get on to Team of the Week. Should we do Team of the Week?
Yeah, we can do that.
So this is the this is the Hockey Hype Australia, our team of the week that we voted on. The forwards, Chris Eden, Joey Hughes, and Benjamin Berard. It was pretty close in the voting there. And D. Kenta Matsukane for the third week in a row makes team of the week. Jeff Solo and Alexandra Tetro in goal. Tetro was a unanimous pick, so you know that we all picked Tetro.
I
Any
must admit,
thoughts?
I love
Comments?
that Eden made this team. I actually think that he's kind of a representative of all the great work Kiwis did this week in the league. Because even the Kiwis in Canberra, they were on fire this weekend. But yeah, Eden, he just phenomenal.
Yeah, Tetro is having
He-
an outstanding season for the Brave in net. But Matsukane, since arriving at the Bears, has put up points in every single game from the blue line. Just been a phenomenal import.
Yeah, and so consistent, consistently such quality.
I actually haven't voted. I haven't voted for him for the last 2 weeks, and he still made it. So if people are in there going, "It's Gordon with his Sydney bias," that's not the case. I will say I'm a huge Chris Eden fan. The team looks completely different with Chris Eden in the lineup, and the power play in particular. What he does on the power play is phenomenal. We could have put any Perth Thunder forward in that other forward spot too, and they wouldn't have looked other place. They would have been deserving of it. It's that thing where they have such in that 8-2 game against the Ice Dogs, 8 different goal scorers. It's
someone
genuine,
mentioned this to me.
genuine depth.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You don't see that every day in this league where just so many different people score. But yeah, it could have easily been Kieran Webster up here, in this lineup.
Yeah.
But Berard, he's come in and he's really taken to being in this Perth Thunder team and in this league. Like, it hasn't taken him much time to sort of settle in.
No, absolutely. Should we go to the fan vote 3 stars, or any other comments you want to make here?
I think it's awesome to see Joey Hughes in there. I know Kerry pumped Joey up massively, but 26 points, top 6 in the points leaders that we've seen before. 26 points this season. Put up points in every single game as well. Just like a fine wine, gets better with age.
Yeah, and it's impressive. The last 2 years with the Brave, he was playing limited amounts of games during the regular season. So to come back to be basically playing all the time with the Ice and playing this well, it's a very impressive. It's just, as you say, getting better with age.
We are going to upset the Melbourne Ice broadcasting crew for not having Nathan Coucher in the team of the week. Here are our 3 stars, voted by the fans, of course. Kieran Webster, the 3rd star, put up, as we mentioned, his 100th AIHL point. Just a phenomenal player too. I've been really impressed by him this season. Alexandra Tetro, the Canberra Brave fans were out in force, getting their goaltender some much-deserved recognition. And Yu Hikosaka, his debut weekend, picking up the 1st star of the game. So congrats to those 3 players. Anything stand out to you guys?
I think if you do a spinorama on debut, you deserve to be the 1st star.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you get confused with Jeremiah Addison, you deserve to be the 3rd. Just catching up in the comments, Berard absolutely earned that from Andrew John Egan. He scored a beautiful power play blast on Saturday, and then the Rhinos were so difficult to break down, and he's the one that broke them down with that kind of dangling move in tight and putting it past Oberoi. Phil Taylor, Eden showed a lot at Trans-Tasman. Not a surprise to see him picked up. Corey Coutinho, I like Solo making the list. He's quietly putting together a great season. Thank you very much for the support, Corey. Andrew John Egan, not impressed. No Karcher. And Michael Clough, Nathan Karcher, the People's Champ. Well, if he was the People's Champ, he would have been voted on the 3 stars. so don't blame us, blame the people. But no, he
has made our team of the week.
Yeah, I did comment that to Jeff Coop, and then the response was, yeah, but this time he deserves it. So we can't win. We can't win. We've got Anthony Russell, the ICE production team, about to go ballot stuffing. Yeah, I think the Newcastle fans were voting in force last week. We didn't see that. As
I think it was more Perth fans this week.
Yeah, it was kind of split. There were a lot of people that had Perth as their second team, so they'd have kind of 2 Melbourne Ice players and a Perth Thunder player. 2 Sydney Bears players and a Perth Thunder player. So they were picking up the secondary points, kind of a Eurovision vibe to it.
Almost sneaking in there. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. I am, and Jeff Coop are the people. And then Phil Taylor, you need to start a give Gav a go type campaign. Yeah, how good was Gavin Birchlaw scoring his first goal in forever? Yeah, that was quite good. Was that this week or last weekend? Time is it's a blur. What have we got next? We've
got the round 9 preview, but before we do that, GG, I want to just chuck this up. I'm going totally off script here, but it was something that Courtney shared to us a little bit earlier. I think this is actually really, really cool that the Newcastle North Stars are the winner of the best local sporting team.
That's so good.
They added a space though. They added a space in between North and Stars.
Because they're going back old school. They're just like, we rep old school North Stars. None of this one word politics.
Yeah. We've got Tori Diver, who's celebrating. Says G, I hope I'm pronouncing that. Courtney Kinniston, that space drives me nuts. Yes, same. But how good is it in rugby league country to beat out the Newcastle Knights as the best local sporting team? I mean, a lot of teams
out the Knights and the Jets is amazing.
Jets. Yeah, I get. But yeah, that's phenomenal.
But I'm pretty sure if you actually look at it, I'm pretty sure the North Stars are the most successful Newcastle sporting team, like professional sporting team, national sporting team, period, in Newcastle.
Yeah, well, the Newcastle Knights women's team did well last year. They won. They're the only respectable team up there. Andrew John Egan. We are more successful than those other 2. Six good old cup wins, right, for the North Stars, leading the league. Yes, we are, Courtney, 100%, and they are Melissa Lee. Yes.
It actually surprises me every week that I've got my cousins up in Newcastle who have never been to a game, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" They'll go to see the Knights play, but they won't go to the ice hockey. And they're like, "Oh, we'd love to, but we just don't understand what happens." And I'm just like, "Just go. There are so many people there all the time. The rink gets packed. It's so much fun."
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. All
right.
Round 9 preview.
Yes. Let's do it. All right.
Round
Doogie,
9,
take us through.
Round 9 or week 9, however you want to call it. We've got the North Stars v the Thunder on Saturday. So that's the first game at 4:30 p.m. In Perth. So that is 6 p.m. Perth. Is that 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time? I think.
It is.
6:30. 6:30.
Yeah, it's just 2 hours later.
Yeah, the Mustangs will travel north to face the Brisbane Lightning. The Melbourne Ice will go to Sydney and face the Ice Dogs. The Bears will travel to Canberra and face the Brave. And then on the Sunday, the Ice will travel to Erina to face the Rhinos. The North Stars will face the Thunder again. And the Mustangs will head down to Sydney after their trip to Brisbane and face the Bears.
It doesn't get any easier for the North Stars, does it? After the Bears' last game, now they've got 2 versus the Thunder. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be the pick of the bunch. Although the Bears, I think the Bears and the Brave would be a really, really solid contest. But that North Stars Thunder weekend could be the pick of the bunch.
Yeah, Bears Brave is like normally a very high a game with a lot of penalties. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens again. There most definitely will be dad jokes though. So if any fans of dad jokes, you've got to be listening in on this broadcast.
We've got a beauty comment. I need to bring it up from Paul Finesse. Yu Hikosaka, he will have to start his spinorama from the center line in Canberra. Paul Finesse, that's brilliant. But yeah, if you talk, I was talking to Kai Miettinen earlier this season, and he said the biggest rival for him, it used to be Newcastle, but now it's the Bears. And I know we talked to Matt Harvey on the podcast, our old podcast, Doogie, and he mentioned the same thing. Biggest rival for him was the Bears. So that the Bears Brave rivalry, don't sleep on that. That's going to be great. But yeah, I think those North Stars Perth Thunder games are going to be pretty special.
I'm also looking forward to that Rhinos game versus the Ice. I think that's also going to be a great game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree, Sean. That was one of the ones I was going to bring up. The Rhinos, there's on anyone's day, there's no easy games in this competition.
I know, it's so good, right?
Yeah, but I'm big on the Brave. Like, I really think the Brave are going to make a really strong run for the rest of the season. Like, and I look at someone like Jake Ratcliffe, starting to motor along now.
Him and Kerry, they're so good together. And Tyler Kabara and Casey are really getting into the groove now as well. It's it's almost like, yes, now you can kind of see how the Brave are going to play from here on in, and it's fun to watch.
And Ratcliffe had a 5-point weekend.
Good. He's so good.
5-point weekend.
I can't believe that the Bears gave him up. I can't believe that the Brave have got Ratcliffe. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, well, I don't think the Bears offered him up to the Brave. But, I don't think that happened.
We need to have a more spicier derby here, guys.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few former Bears players on the Brave at the moment. Tommy Stephen, Jake Ratcliffe. So yeah, we'll see.
And Tommy Stephen, he has been slow burning, but getting better and better as the season's gone on. Like, he's a big assister this season. Last season with the Bears, I thought that he really came on in his goal scoring. And so far with the Brave, he hasn't been scoring as much, but he has been providing a lot.
Yeah, last season with the Bears, I think the first 11 games of the season, he scored a goal in each of those 11 games to start the season. Just an unreal tear with, he got good chemistry with Ace Cowens. So yeah, I haven't seen the goal scoring, but I'm sure that'll come. He's got a good eye for the net.
One thing for the Brave this weekend, they're not going to have Kai, as you said earlier. So captainless, it'll be interesting to see who comes up with the leadership in the team.
We have a ton of comments. I'll try to spin through them. Courtney Kinniston, North Stars fans will explain the game to new people, and Tori Diver confirming that as well, who is packing for the trip to Perth tomorrow. So safe travels, Tori. I look forward to your comments next week. Ash Loveday Staying's the big road trip. It is a huge, in the context of their season. If they don't get 6 points from this trip, they're well, they're already in trouble. It might be season kind of done.
But also, what was? Can you actually bring up the graphic again for this weekend's games? So if you actually look at this, you also look at the Mustangs. They're playing in Brisbane on Saturday and Sydney on Sunday. For such an important weekend in the context of their season, that is huge miles that they're putting in.
Not as big as the miles I put in last weekend and got COVID, and I'm still showing up. There's no excuses, Sean.
There's no excuses. 6 points must be brought home.
We do have a comment. Jessica Calder had friends go to the ice game Saturday night, asked a random person about a rule. Cute Liam Webster's dad, spending half the game teaching my friends the rules. Ice hockey people so lovely and welcoming. I wonder if there are information on the conferences in that conversation. Here for dad jokes from Melissa Lee. Tori Diver, ex North Stars plays Jones and JFK in the West will be a fun reunion. Absolutely. Jessica Calder was sitting next to them and observed that. Was terrific to see. Yeah, that's great from Andrew John Egan. Cameron Marks in the Brave backline is a bonus too. He nearly made Team of the Week. He made Team of the Week last week. Cameron Marks is a huge addition to the Brave. Felt bad we were over in Karcher Corner. Couldn't explain to them. Coincidentally, Liam is the player I sponsor, so it was quite funny for us. That's kind of cool from Jessica Calder. Melissa Lee's cheering for the Brave, and Anthony Russell, 5 a.m. Thursday, Australian Eastern Standard Time. What's current stream to catch up on the latest from the AIHL here in Britain? Plugging a show. Great job as ever, guys. Roll on the weekend and Jeff Coop's next cordial induced shouting. And then Corey Katina, no Kai, but no Timmins. That's a fair trade-off for the Brave. It's good if you're the Bears because you're playing the Brave without Kai and you're playing the Mustangs without Timmins. So it's not too bad.
Yeah.
All right. Is that we've gone well and truly over. Anything else? Final thoughts?
To be fair, we did have Kerry stories, so going over is almost a natural thing to happen.
Final thoughts,
it's been a good show. It's been a good week. Good show, good week of hockey. Should be another jam-packed weekend this weekend. I think there's no hockey in Melbourne, so I'll be sitting on the couch and just, as Andrew John Egan would say, getting hockey into my eyeballs as much as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 7 games this weekend. The Sunday games are quite spread out, which will be good for anyone watching on AIHL TV because you've got the early game, you've got your middle game, and then you've got the late game in the West. So that'll be quite good. And yeah, the only team not playing this weekend is Adelaide. They've got a bye. So 9 teams involved.
Yeah, they've already got 4 games in hand on the Brave at the moment. That'll move.
Yeah,
to
they
5
really
games
needed
in
that
hand.
bye, I tell you. They finally caught up to everyone else, and then all of a sudden, no, you guys not playing this week.
We've got some love in the chat. Paul Finesse, great show, team. Good breakdown of what's happened or happening. Thank you, Paul. My sleep appreciates 3 less games this weekend from Corey Katina. And Ash Loveday, great show. My first time here watching. Welcome along, Ash. Thank you for putting up with us. And Tori Diver, thanks guys. Thanks very much, Tori. Safe travels. Safe travels if you're watching hockey this weekend. I hope you enjoy. Bring your comments. We'd love to have a chat about what you saw from the games next weekend. But in the meantime, for Andrew McDougall, for Sean O'Connor, I am Gordon Goodenough. We bid you farewell. Make sure that you like and subscribe to Hockey Night in Australia on your favorite podcast provider. And on YouTube. Again, Andrew is in with the stats daily. This is how many people have subscribed. Please keep him happy. But in the meantime, thank you very much for your support. And I hope your team wins, and I hope your player is voted in the team of the week next week. All those
And if
things.
you really want
Thanks
to,
for the voting.
tell everyone to vote. Just get out there.
Yeah. Tell
we
your
want
friends.
to see thousands of votes, guys. Come on.
Yeah. But thank you very much, and we'll enjoy your evening. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.
See you all.
So yeah.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.